Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are most welcome to practical experience training with a focus on supervisors. My name is Ambrose. I work with the Institute in the Directorate of Education. I want to thank you all for coming in time. And as we wait for others, I would like to encourage you to post your comments and questions in the Q&A. Then we should be able to respond to those comments or allow me introduce our keynote speaker for this afternoon. The keynote speaker is Mr. John Bosco Ntangare. John Bosco is the Director of Education at the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, join me with virtual hand clap to welcome the keynote speaker. Thank you. Sir, you are welcome. We are now 66 participants.
Okay, thank you, Ambrose. Good afternoon, members. Okay, good afternoon, members. On behalf of the Institute, I would like to welcome you to this special training for supervisors. As you know, we rolled out the practical experience training in 2016. This is a requirement for all students who are undertaking training, who are undertaking the CPA course to undergo practical training, record their experience in real time. We have noted that some students are actually working, they're employed just for that. And we are now beginning to demand, as Ambrose will show you here, practical experience. It is important that so that we are sure you are doing the right thing. If you have students on the practical experience, rotated so that they get the required experience, which because students are in 3 years, in 3 areas of technical, non-technical areas. So as employers, we need you to, I don't want to take much of your time, but I want to thank you, and then we shall have a plenary at the end so that we support our students to get the required experience, which will usher them into membership. I thank you for listening to me. Over to you. We shall membership to Ambrose.
Thank you so much, sir, for those wonderful remarks. And we are so grateful. Most of the presentation that I wanted to take in, have tackled it, and I believe remarks in the requirements of practical experience training as supervisors. So, dear participants, as I indicated and as the keynote speaker has indicated, you are the face or the faces or the professionals, so that they become like, so in that you. And I believe at whatever levels they are, as students or graduates or aspiring professional accounting students, they aspire to be like you. And therefore, that's why a CPA is majorly focused on you, the members of the institute, who can mentor the future generation. And you will allow me share the screen. We talk about legal requirements, technical areas which students are currently documenting. For most of you are aware of students, what we want students as well as associates. You know, when you graduate from CPA course, before one becomes a member, he or she is an associate. And most of all of you are past this stage, but there are people who are still students or associates and are aspiring to be like you all and me. Then we shall also look at the expectations from the mentors, from the supervisors, which is the gist of this presentation. Then we will indicate of the road map page. What shall we require students or graduates who want to be members like you to have next year in 2021 and also in 2022, like that. Introduction. Practical experience, all of us know, it is workplace or any other activities that are relevant to developing a professional competence. And while training the CPA student, while they are, and even the exams they do, they are all hinged on the international education standards. We have 8 of them, IES 1 up to IES 7, up to IES 8. Why I said 7, normally 7 is for CPD and E8 is for practicing accountants. So students are catered within IES 1 up to IES 6. IES 6 is the practical experience is a practical experience training and then documentation. So this student, having been exposed to such requirements and has complied with those, such a student is a globally recognized accountant once he or she finishes the CPA course. That's why ICPAU is interested in making sure that this student documents his or her practical experience. And going forward, we shall be seeing, as we shall see from the roadmap, students will be required, or graduates will be required by the time they become members, have documented a certain level of experience. Of course, under your mentorship, under your supervisorship. So where do we get it all? We get it all from this, can I call it a house? Wherever you are, I don't, but to me, I see it is like a house. There is a roof, there are poles, then there is a foundation. The foundation is education. If a student has got the right education, he or she will be able to apply these standards we do in our daily, on our workplaces. Most of us apply IFRSs SMO 7. SMO is the Statement of Membership Obligations, which ICPAU has to ensure that every student who has completed the course complies with that. And that statement is embedded within the syllabus. SMO3 is on ISAs, International Standards on Auditing. Most of us who are in audit firms, we apply these standards. SMO5 is the IPSAS, International Public Sector Accounting Standards. That is for public sector and other entities which use the public sector standards. Then above all, the roof, the protection, one is quality assurance. Most of you who have firms, you have seen our team come to you, look through the documentation, ask you questions here and there, and you query on the level of compliance. That is what we go with, SMO1, quality assurance. Then SMO4 is ethics. All of us have the ICPAU Code of Ethics and also the IFAC Code of Ethics. The compliance level requirements is as per SMO4. Then should you deviate from SMO4, SMO1, then you are under SMO6, investigation and discipline. And I believe this we shouldn't talk about because we believe we shall comply with all these and having acquired the right education. I believe we all did, but we also need to make sure that the student or CPA graduate who is aspiring to be a member complies with this standard SMO2, Statement of Membership Obligation SMO2, which has all those standards that we have shared, SIS 1 up to IAS 8. So that is the requirement from IFAC, of whose CPA is a member. Now, what does practical experience require us to? Why do we emphasize practical experience? We emphasize it because it protects the public interest. It will enhance quality of the work done by us. They say that we are all the faces of the profession. And if we mentor these students, we guide well these students, then these students will also be better faces of the profession. Then for aspiring students, for a person to be a member of the institute, he or she along the way. Now, when it comes to she, initially to be when you complete your CPA course, your member services committee who may, so that committee will require you to have documented the practical experience training. Then what does, of course, the role require? The role requires that for one to be admitted as a member, he or she must have obtained experience in 3 technical areas, the non-technical areas. That is in accordance with the Accountants Act and in that some period of experience. Or if a person has been in a very specialized area and he or she wants to be a member of the institute, he or she may be allowed a certain level of experience be documented. So that one is on a case-by-case basis. But generally, a person should have got experience in those three technical areas. So what are they? These are the technical areas, ladies and gentlemen. We have 7 of them, but a student is required to document 3, or out of 7, a student picks 3. So a student or graduate can pick out financial reporting, taxation, and ICT, or whatever, depending on how you do the permutations. Then non-technical areas, the student is supposed to document on all the non-technical areas. And as you can see, they are very essential, which some people nowadays are calling them future skills, or highly demanded skills now. So we need the student to graduate to also document these skills. So in your supervision of this student, you will ensure that he or she has documented at least on all those areas: communication, personal, interpersonal, and yes, those areas, 3 areas. So what is expected of a student? The student will register. The student has a responsibility to go and register online. We have already demonstrated to them what to do. They go, register, and after registering, they are able to be approved. Of course, they have to register with your FM number. So some students may request you to give them their FM numbers, your FM number. So please give them the FM number, then they register. When they register, we approve. After approval, then they are able to document the experience. We have already shown them what to do, as I am also going to show you how you can approve that experience. Then, of course, the student is expected to devote a lot of time. Most of the don't work. 80% of the work is done by the student. For you, the mentor, you may only need around 5% of his or her documentation of experience. To review the work, confirm that that experience is relevant to what he or she does. And by the way, the student may not be your colleague at the workplace, may be in another organization, but he has chosen you to be the mentor. Either because of certain reasons, there is no CPA at the workplace, or you are their external auditor, and the other reasons. So the student is supposed to record this experience online. Now, what are our requirements as supervisors? I personally have around 10 students whom I supervise. And the requirements are here. You are supposed to provide, if you are the employer, for instance, you are supposed to provide the workplace conditions for the student to gain his or her experience. And then you are also supposed to appoint the supervisor or agree with the student or that student who is now the mentee at your workplace, the nature of the supervisor who can review his or her experience. Then down there, we say in case the mentee is solely engaged for paid, then we need a training contract. There are some employers whom students have approached, and the employers have given them tasks, relevant tasks in one of those areas I talked about, the technical areas, and they are engaged specifically to gain practical experience training. They are not employed by that entity, but they are engaged. In that case, there is a training contract we provide, which is signed between the student and the employer in witness of ICPAU, and the student is able to gain that experience. Then the supervisor can review or record the training in a manner that is prescribed by the institute. We will see how that is. Then, who is a practical experience supervisor? Can I be a practical experience supervisor? We have been asked many questions regarding how one can be. The only way is a person should be a member of the institute. That means he should be a professional accountant. And under the Act, they define what a professional accountant is. Then he should be responsible for directing, advising the student in acquiring this experience. So the person should be a member in good standing in general. A person of high repute is a member, has no disciplinary proceedings against that person, so many things. And has all the knowledge and the competences that is relevant for that student acquire experience, or can competently supervise that experience. Because, for instance, if I was to supervise a student who is in the oil and gas sector, I may not competently do that because I may need to first learn what oil and gas is, the financial reporting framework within that area, so that I'm able to do so. So that's what we mean here. So you must have all the competencies that are relevant to the student. But if you are their auditor, then you have all the requirements. Then we have also a section of approved employers. All approved employers, once a student applies for PET, and we have approved that student, automatically where the student is, we take that person to be the approved employer. But there is a process which we follow to make sure that that employer is an approved employer. In our case of all audit firms are regarded as approved employers for PET, for practical experience training. There are also others which we have enlisted as approved employers. So I may encourage you to also encourage those students or CPA associates to apply for practical experience training and document their experience, and possibly their employers can acquire that status. It is also one of the recognition statuses in developing a professional accountant. So how do we prepare for mentorship? We have dedicated staff here who will guide you to make sure that you mentor this student, all these students, in a way that is appropriate, so that person comes out as a competent professional accountant. Now, the roadmap, before I go to before I go to demonstrate how you can document your experience, you need to know this roadmap. You need to know it so that if a student has approached you, or you are already mentoring that student and has graduated possibly next year or in the following year, and the student is going to be a member of the institute, then he should be aware of these proceedings. Number one, we started the development of PET logbook in 2017. In 2018, we opened it to trainees on a pilot basis. In 2019 and 2020, we promoted PET and started calibrating the PET logbook. And now it is very highly user-friendly, as we are going to see. Then in 2021, for a student, a graduate who is applying for membership must attach 1 year of PET record. That year can be either this year or because PET allows retrospective application. You can have prior experience recorded in your PET. So we need 1 year next year. In 2022, we will need 2 years of PET record. In 2023 and thereafter, we will need 3 years. As indicated earlier, the requirements, the accountant's regulations require that someone to be a member should have acquired 3 years of practical experience. Those years can be the prior years or the progressive years. Then 2021 onwards, holders of foreign accountancy qualifications, you know them, those CPA professional qualifications acquired outside East Africa generally, East Africa, those 5 countries, will be required to attach a PET record commencing from the date of registration as ICPAU students, plus a CV demonstrating proof of having acquired that PET. So those ones, you may need to guide them in case they approach you. So allow me, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, to share what we normally do, you as members. When you visit the website, all of us normally go here. We no longer go here because we finished the course. So we come here as members, then you log in as member, log in. Let's allow, then now we use either our FM numbers or ID numbers and then password. After that, you confirm that you are not a robot, and then you log in as a member. When you log in, you should be able to see the number of students which you are mentoring, right? So the number of students which are mentoring, you can see. It's quite a huge list. Then after that, you pick out the student whose experience is due for review, who has alerted you that, by the way, I've documented some experience, kind of review. Otherwise, in case he has not, you can always revisit that site every 6 months, but you should be able to do so. And even the emails will be alerting you that this so and so has documented. So if let me click maybe Nicholas, and you see now, I have logged in as a mentor. Nicholas works with Team and Company. He is a mentor. The ICPAU reviewer is there. So it will show you all those. And in most cases, all these items are shown. So what happens is you'll be able to see the paid summary of what the person has documented and your level of review. For instance, in the financial reporting here, the student documented what he or she was able to document. Then I came and reviewed, and then I reviewed completely what he or she documented. Similarly, the student has so far documented 20% under item 2. Now, I have so far reviewed 10%. It should be able to give you the level of review by the mentor and the level of documentation by the student. So how do I review? I think that is the question which I've also seen in the chat room. How do I review? I should go to the ongoing activities. These are activities which the student is currently documenting on. And then if I go there, I should be able to see what the student is documenting. One, you can open and see what level of documentation he or she has made. So once you have opened, then you will see that. You'll be able to see that he has documented this in green. That one in green. Then the student has the reviewer, the mentor, went in and did guidance and did provide guidance. That one in blue. Then also the student noted, the mentor noted and confirmed. Should I need to have more clarification? I can still do. But what happened was this was done as a complete task. How? I can say I have flagged the practice as completed. Then I save. When I save, it will take me back to the activities the student has done. Should I need more others? I can still browse. When I browse, I should be able to get the list of all those technical areas the student is also doing documenting. Let me see. I go on ongoing activities, yes. What the student is currently documenting. Now, the student is telling me that there are, I can open and see, receiving and dispatching receipts. So those receipts, if I am happy with it, I can confirm. I perform a task here, I confirm. If I am not happy with that, I can write a message and say, dear student, maybe the student, please provide some report. Please provide a brief dispatch report. So the person may, while providing that, I may need to give him guidance on how that report will look like. I can choose a file in the folder and attach it. Or I can simply send the message and the person may give me the report. And that is simply my work. So I send the message will go straight to the student. And whenever a student goes into the account the way I came in as a member, then the students should be able to get a comment from the mentor. After all this, a report is shared with you. The report will be similar to this, to the summary, summary. A report will be shared with you, showing the level of documentation on that student. And it will show you which areas are being documented on and which areas have not been documented on, and what level of documentation documented on, and what, ladies and gentlemen, in that regard, we encourage you to mentor, to review this work of students. It is highly customized. It is very highly friendly. You can go there, check the record of work which the student has done. For instance, as I showed you up, for instance, you can, if you wanted to see what the student documented on returning goods under financial reporting, you can go there, then confirm the experience he or she has documented and simply approve. You can see I approved, and they indicated, the ICPAU reviewer here indicated that the task was satisfying. So then, at the end of the day, the student is able to be given membership. But that membership has to be accompanied with a report, an online report from this system. That report will be shared between you and the ICPAU reviewer and the student, 3 people, and member, yes, and 4 people, and members of the event of member services committee, who will go through who will be advised on whether to admit this person as a member of the institute or not. But of course, in most cases, when the documentation is very fair and correct, the person is admitted as a member. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for listening to me. I want to go back to our message and remind you that within next year, we shall 2021, we shall be admitting members who have made some record of practical experience training. And I believe most students are looking around so that you are able to mentor them. Kindly do, and they become members. So it is important that a comprehensive and continuous record of all practical training is kept. And of course, as I indicated, it is the responsibility of the trainee to maintain all the records, put the records, and so that the supervisor is able to see properly and review accordingly. I thank you so much for listening to me. Yes, this is time for questions and answers. I have a question from Julian Ongom, CPA. Thank you for the presentation. Does it matter at what stage of studies the student has reached to be taken for PET program? Yeah, it doesn't matter really, but what matters is by the time the person is applying for membership, this person should have documented the level of experience required. For instance, next year, we need 1 year of record. It is better when the student is starting CPA. Someone is starting CPA in 2021 to start documenting the experience. So that the exposure he or she has acquired from the CPA papers, if he or she finishes 2 levels in 2021, he or she should be able to document that the experience he has acquired in that year. That's what it means. For better preparedness. So that by the time the person finishes the CPA course, he or she has also the practical experience logbook report, as you have seen. So then he or she does not go into documenting experience after finishing the course. But even if the person has finished the course and documented the experience, despite how many weeks the person will spend, he or she can submit that and becomes a member. The challenge is the person may be wanting to be a member in maybe 2 months from now and has not recorded the experience. So, and there is no time. So it becomes a challenge. Or does not have that experience. And the experience is inelastic. You can't acquire it now and extend it. So it is better for these students to acquire the experience. Thank you for that question. Then another one is coming from CPA Comrade Guma. Thank you for the presentation. Good afternoon. Kindly elucidate more on the mode of documentation. That is the way such info can be written. Yes. Thank you, Guma. I can again go back. Since we still have more time, and we see what we can document. I believe CPA Guma, you can access your account. If you can access your account, and you already have students you mentor, those students are there. So when you click on one of the students, it will show you the level of the PET summary, the syllabus summary, the level of experience that person has so far undertaken. If you happen to, if you are interested in looking at the ongoing activities, this one's I am rotating around. You can go and see where the student is documenting. if you want to know how the requirements are structured, as I indicated, there are technical skills and non-technical skills, and the reflective statement I was going to eat. The technical skills, these are the ones as we indicated in our presentation. So if you click on financial reporting, for instance, it will give you all those areas under financial reporting. If you click on one of the areas, it will still break down to the smallest unit of financial reporting. For instance, cash book and bank reconciliation. So on that point, that's where you will be able to make to document where the student will be able to document the experience. So I've clicked on it. You are going to see what has been documented, these ones, and we have also confirmed. So I will show you where the mentor has not reviewed, and you see that. Then I document, and you see you get to understand, pick how to document the experience. Let me look for where the student has not documented. So now you can see that here the student has not attempted anything here. Maybe the student never picked auditing as one of the technical areas. If we go to taxation, for instance, the student has not picked anything there because the student never picked it. But if when we were in financial reporting, the student picked that if we went to cash book, the student did some work and there was documentation. Then now, if we go down into another area of financial reporting, property, plant, and equipment, the student will indicate that he or she has not put the items. But if the student documents, then I will be able to see. Then, now if I go to another area, possibly another technical area, you can see this is one technical area broken into very many other areas. So if I go into another technical area, for instance, financial management, I go to another one, for instance, financial management. Financial management, there is analyzing, advising, developing strategies, participating in risks. If I click on one of the smallest area, it will show me that the student has not done on any documentation. So if I go there, I will find there nothing. But if he has already documented, then I will find there something. Now, whereas if we go to auditing, where the student has done some level of, let me see, yes. For instance, here, the student has documented, but I have not reviewed. Now here, meet students have not confirmed that is a task. So I need to confirm and flag it as complete. If it is not complete, I still go ahead and write a message to that student. Then I use your words and say, elucidate more on planning. Maybe I have not understood the experience the student has documented. And if a mentor has not understood really, then the student has to develop some level of effort to make the mentor understand. So we can say elucidate more on planning, and the student does. Then I send the message. That message has gone to the student, and the student, once he or she reads it, he will know what to do. Know that yes, I did not do much experience, document much of the experience, and therefore I need to document to make it clearer. And by the way, the student is supposed to be brief, not as more elaborate. It's supposed to be brief but understandable. Then there are those requirements of confidentiality. The student may give us a hint of what he or she did regarding a certain assignment, but we will not need details of that assignment. That one it is incorporated within this system. All the student can take a brief photograph of, for instance, an insolvency report, takes a brief snapshot, and then scans it or uploads it on the portal, and we are able to see it, to see that he or she participated in an insolvency practice assignment, but not giving details. Details the system may not allow. If you give more details, then it will provoke us. Then we will be able to see that the student is struggling to explain more on a certain task, and we are able to call the student, we advise accordingly. And if it is a mentor, we also call and advise accordingly. Yeah, thank you so much, CPA Guma, for that question. Another one is coming from my friend Stephen Mucherule. At what level does ICPAU reviewer perform the action? Thank you, sir. We perform the action as soon as you have performed the action. So when you review, an alert is sent to the ICPAU, and we are able to go through, and we confirm what you have reviewed. Just like when a student applies for mentorship, for state practical experience training, when he or she applies through his or her account. When he does so, then we are also alerted, and we go and review the applicant, review the mentor or the supervisor, and we confirm. Just that. So that is the level. The other one is coming from my mentor, CPA Andrew Kawere. There are 3 questions. 1, are all the relevant areas of practice pre-populated by ICPAU online? Yes, sir. They are all online. Everything is done by student online. And the student has because the areas are highly flexible, the student can demonstrate on those areas, bearing in mind for us, we thought we are considerate of the fact that entities are different. So the student will be able to document depending on the circumstances he or she is in, on the same area, different from another student still on the same area, but all of them are online. So we don't need any hard copy related material in relation to this program. Is ICPAU assisting the students in finding mentors? Yes, thank you so much, Andrew, CPA Andrew. Yeah, in the law, it is the responsibility of the students to find mentors. We have also given them guidelines. The guidelines are on their portal. When they log in, they are able to see practical experience guidelines. So they are aware that they are supposed to get mentors, to find their own mentors, because it might be a challenge for us to get a mentor for a student and the mentor-student relationship freezes or something. So it is a responsibility of the student. However, if the student needs the guidance on how to get a mentor, then we come in to suggest what he or she can do to get a mentor. And we have done such guidance. Interestingly, today morning, someone was asking that he wants to mentor 5 students. He's a partner in one of the big 4, and we have promised to send him the students whom he can mentor, such kind of guidance. But the overall responsibility rests on the student. Then the third question from the same CPA Andrew Kawere is suggestion. It would be nice to have a feature for attachments. The students should be able to attach some documents. Yes, the student will be able to attach some documents. And where we find challenges understanding what the student has documented, we normally request the student attach some level of documentation bearing in mind of confidentiality at the workplace, so that we are able to understand properly how that was done. That one, we have seen it in insolvency practice students. Then, thank you so much, sir, for those 3 questions. Another question is from Solomon Lukua Peter Boone, CPA. What advice would you give us to a CPA student working in a non-accountants organization, which has no staff, who is a CPA and a member of the institute, and yet must obtain practical experience? Yes, thank you, sir. The advice we would give to this student would be to look for a member who is who may be their external auditor. Or if they don't have an external auditor, look for, agree, discuss with the employer on the nature of the person who can mentor that person. So that means that student has either selected the member, can select you, Solomon, and then discusses with the employer and you become their mentor. Reason is why we loop in the employer is confidentiality reasons. And also the employer has to be aware that, yes, I have a finance officer who is aspiring to be a professional accountant, but he or she is being mentored. So we have that. Or we discuss with the employer and the student and some other person agreeable, and that person becomes the mentor. So there are many ways we can, a student can get a mentor. Then how often should the student document the PET? Is it annually? Oh, thank you, Esther. CPA Esther Biganja is asking, how often should a student document PET? The student is expected to document practical experience training every after 6 months. The student should have documented some level of experience. So in a year, the students should be able to demonstrate, to interact with the institute or the mentor 2 times a year. So a very serious student or CPA associate can start documenting experience from 1st month up to 6 months, either weekly or monthly. Then at the end in their last month, that's 6 months, because the mentor should review within 6 months. The mentor now reviews. The mentor may take close to 20 minutes reviewing this work. Then now ICPAU will come in after 6 months and review, corroborates the information given by the mentor, confirmation by the mentor and the student. So that is 6 months. That means if someone is a CPA graduate now and wants to be a member next year and has already experience, that student can document that experience within this month of December, and next year becomes a member. But the mentor, has to confirm that experience. So that person has to acquire a lot of time and document, and that's why it is better to regularly document. Yeah, so thank you so much for those questions. I believe I have answered you. And in case we have not connected properly, you can send the question to pet@icpau.co.ug, and we should be able to respond to you accordingly. I thank you so much for listening. I don't see any other questions, and allow me, if they are not there, there is someone who raised his or her hand. You can give that person an opportunity to speak, and then Paul Chisto, you can speak now. CPA Paulo, you can speak wherever you are. Thank you. Paulo is not able to speak. Esther, do you still want to say something? Okay, I can give the microphone to Stephen. Stephen, you can speak now. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. I want to ask whether a mentor can have students whom it does not directly work with, but those students are in different organizations.
Yeah.
They just keep posting there what they have done. Is that permissible?
Thank you so much, Stephen. Yes, that is permissible. It is permissible on an implicit understanding that you understand the work arrangements of that student. It is really permissible. We actually allow mentors, according to the regulations, to the guidelines, we allow mentors to have mentees up to a maximum of 10. So, yeah, it is permissible up to 10 people. Thank you. Yes,
Is there a maximum number of students?
Sorry, you can speak, Stephen, again. Stephen, you have a microphone. You are continuing.
Is there a maximum number of students one should mentor? Or what is the guideline there?
The maximum number should not is 10. The number of students should not exceed 10. Yeah, so the mentor can mentor up to 10 students. Thank you. So we can give another opportunity to Esther. Esther, are you able to speak? Esther, you have the microphone. You raised your hand. If you are able to speak, you can speak. Thank you. Irene, you can speak if you have a question. Meanwhile, you can post your questions and comments to Q and A. In the remaining 2 minutes, we answer them, then we can close.
Hello?
Right. Yes,
Hello?
please. Go ahead, Irene.
Yes, I'm asking about students who ask for recommendation from a professional when you're not sure who has been their mentor. Yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Thank you. That is a very good question. They ask recommendation from the profession.
Yes, but when you have not been mentoring them, you could be knowing them, but you have not mentored their journey into professionalism. So, what would you advise?
Yeah, thank you.
I would feel that maybe the mentor should be the very person to recommend someone.
Yes, that is also our feeling, and we also have there are students who come and say so and so would like to be my mentor, and is the head of a section in this organization. They are I am aspiring to be in that organization. Now, what we do, we write to that person following the conversation they had with that student. So it is very highly specific in case a student approaches us wanting recommendation from us to someone who wants to be his or her mentor. And maybe that mentor is very formal, wants some level of confidence, then we write in regard to that discussion the student had with the mentor. Yeah, but in most cases, you don't ask these students really to come to ICPAU for clearance. No. And, once a student applies here, if the student is an active student, he or she will be allowed by the system. So if the student is not an active one, he or she will not be allowed. So just give them your FM number. And of course, there is basic information you need to know about them. If they are not your colleagues at the workplace, or they are not employees of your clients, if you are external auditors or what, or consultants. You may need to know where they are working, what they do at the workplace, and maybe the sector. If you understand the sector well, then please go ahead and mentor those students. Yes. Thank you. So on that note, I want to thank you so much for the questions. I am very happy for those questions, and I believe that you are going to take on the role of mentoring, and we will continue interacting. We'll continue interacting. Next year, we should be interacting almost quite often, and so that we are able to develop the profession to the level that we desire. And even those we develop, they are able to sing our names as mentors, having mentored a certain person. We thank you so much for that. I believe our director is still on call. Sir, if you are still available, may you give closing remarks if you are available. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambrose. On behalf of the Institute, I would like to thank all the members who have logged in this afternoon, and thank you for those questions. We believe that you are now equipped, and when you go back to your workplaces, you will guide the students properly so they can record the experience. We do not want to see a case where the students come and they are bounced because they did not record the experience. So, as Ambrose mentioned, the students need to appreciate that I have walked this journey with this mentor. Be present in their professional lives, guide them, so that at some point they will say, when I worked with this organization, so and so helped me to walk the PET journey. With those remarks, I want to once again thank you for attending and to declare this training closed. Have a blessed evening.
Thank you, sir.